what are the trends you're seeing right now? Obviously, there was this push to return to work. A lot of companies have put that on pause. Companies are reevaluating, what they want to be doing years from now. How are you seeing this play out in the market?
Well, people definitely took a break from home buying following Memorial Day. So the market was absolutely insane going into May, and then it just went down to some hot level in June. Now it's getting hot again in July. So I think that traffic peaked maybe in March, home buying demand peaked in May, but still there's just a lot more people who want to buy a house than there is houses to buy.
So, what does that say about the fundamental redistribution in population? I mean, is that slowing down? How does the country look different after this is all said and done?
Well, I think a lot of rich people are leaving California, New York, and moving to the center of the country. It's absolutely a good thing for America. Historians are going to look back at what happened over the past 20 or 30 years and just wonder how there could have been such a buildup in a few major cities of all this technology and all this wealth. So the idea that you can build technology and live in Ohio or Idaho or Tulsa, Oklahoma, that is going to be good for this country because it's just going to more equitably distribute all this money. So I think it's mostly a good thing. It's just going to be hard for those little towns to adapt to it. If you're moving to Nashville, you're going to be paying almost twice as much for a home as the people who are living there already. And still it'll seem cheap to you because you're using monopoly money from California or New York or somewhere like that.
And what about commercial real estate? I mean, so many of these companies are either they're going virtual first, they haven't yet decided, they're in the middle of this great experiment. You walk into the middle of downtown San Francisco and there's no buzz, there's no sort of magic in the air that was there. Is that going to return?
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen to commercial real estate because even if you convert it to residential real estate, the reason that people wanted to live downtown was to be close to work. And if they're not going to be going into the office that much, the appeal is gone. So it's going to take a little while for all the air to come out of the balloon because you sign 5 or 10-year leases, but the air is coming out of the balloon. And commercial real estate just doesn't have a bottom as far as I can tell because so many people are working from home and they're going to continue to do so. Every office that has tried to get people to come back has had to back off. And it's not just because of Delta, it's because the employees don't want to come back. And if you insist on it, they're just going to go work somewhere else. So I think people are going to want to get together maybe once or twice a week, but ultimately that's going to mean that offices are going to be reused by one group of people coming in on Monday and Tuesday, and another group coming in on Wednesday and Thursday.
Meantime, climate change, there are wildfires threatening, very popular destinations. And I'm curious how this is playing out there. I mean, I know people who, smoke in Tahoe, obviously Utah. There's been a lot of dangerous wildfires happening there. What's going on?
Well, it seems like you can't deter people from moving to places that are threatened by climate risk. So Phoenix and Las Vegas are 2 of the hottest real estate markets, and they're also just literally the hottest places in America, most susceptible to drought. So we have not been able to dissuade people from moving into flood zones in Texas, moving into flood zones in Florida. Those are 2 of the highest growth areas. It seems like the future is arriving very quickly, but still Americans are more interested in looking for lower taxes and lower housing costs. So it's been a real contradiction in terms, and I've been surprised by it.
Now, we're still seeing some epic bidding wars for homes out there. And I wonder if you think we're in a bubble. Are we in a housing bubble? Is that bubble on course to burst? And after this, could we see a bust like we saw before and through the financial crisis?
Maybe. I mean, I think the issue is that housing prices aren't going to increase at a rate of 26%. That was the rate in May. And then in June, it came down to about 25%. That's still unsustainable. But it's not like 2008, where you had strawberry pickers buying houses in the Central Valley, where subprime lending was subsidizing a market where people couldn't even make their first mortgage payment. The people who are buying houses right now are mostly rich people. It is second properties. It is luxury homes that are up the most. And so really what's driving this boom is just this whole K-shaped recovery. The rich keep getting richer, and they're using some of that money to buy bigger houses. And given that the people who are moving are actually spending less on a house, they might be moving from LA to Idaho. And when they do that, they're getting an $800,000 house that seems expensive by Idaho standards, but is still $400,000 less than what they had in LA. So I think there's a bunch of factors that make the housing market somewhat sustainable, but it is still exquisitely sensitive to interest rates. And we are running along a knife's edge on that because there's a lot of government spending and there's a lot of inflation risk that's building up because of the labor shortage. So I don't know. I hope we keep running along the knife's edge and then everything's going to be okay, but no promises.